You're not going to get rid of any of the debts, are you? Or you're going to try and deal with it in a mealy-mouthed way, which suggests you haven't really thought this through.
To a lot of people who voted for you, that might have sounded like a promise. Was it?
Ever wondered what happens when a seasoned journalist corners a politician on live TV? Piers Morgan's recent interview with Angela Rayner was nothing short of explosive. As Labour's deputy leader squirmed under the spotlight, viewers at home were left stunned. What did Rayner say that's got everyone talking? Stay tuned to find out how this interview might just change the game for Labour's election hopes. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. As the stage was set for this high-stakes interview, Piers Morgan's reputation as a formidable interrogator loomed large. Known for his uncompromising approach and ability to corner even the most seasoned politicians, Morgan wasted no time in setting the tone. The moment Angela Rayner stepped into the studio, the atmosphere crackled with tension. Morgan, ever the skilled provocateur, immediately honed in on Labour's stance on student debt. It was clear from the outset that he had no intention of letting Rayner off easy. With the precision of a seasoned prosecutor, he brought up Jeremy Corbyn's previous statements about dealing with student debt.
Jeremy Corbyn, he lectured me on missing the Corbyn surge, and when I pressed him, he said he's going to take care of the students' debt.
Fees, and many students do. I think it's disingenuous to say that students didn't understand that. They do understand that.
Laying the groundwork for what could potentially be a damning contradiction. As the interview progressed, viewers could almost see Rayner's initial confidence begin to waver. Morgan's relentless pursuit of specifics regarding Labour's plans left little room for the usual political manoeuvring. Each time Rayner attempted to offer a vague response or deflect the question, Morgan pounced, refusing to accept anything less than concrete answers. The tension in the studio was palpable. Morgan's rapid-fire questioning strategy forced Rayner into an increasingly defensive position. It was like watching a high-stakes game of chess, with Morgan constantly advancing and Rayner scrambling to protect her position. As the pressure mounted, one couldn't help but wonder, how long could Rayner hold out under this relentless assault?
He's going to get rid of all tuition fees and he's going to pay off all the debts. Now it turns out that was a load of old baloney.
Susanna, you know that there wasn't a promise on that, and I've been clear. I understand student debt.
Morgan's approach was a masterclass in journalistic persistence. He didn't just ask questions, he dissected Rayner's responses, challenged her assertions, and demanded clarity on every point. This wasn't just an interview, it was a test of political mettle, with Morgan pushing Rayner to her limits. As the questioning intensified, it became clear that Morgan was setting the stage for something bigger. Each query seemed strategically designed to lead Rayner towards a potential slip-up. The atmosphere in the studio grew increasingly charged, with viewers on the edge of their seats, waiting to see if Rayner could navigate this treacherous terrain. As the pressure cooker of Morgan's interrogation reached its boiling point,
you're not going to get rid of any of the debts, are you? Or you're going to try and deal with it in a mealy-mouthed way, which suggests you haven't really thought this through.
To a lot of people who voted for you, that might have sounded like a promise. Was it?
Rayner found herself trapped in a web of her own party's contradictions. The relentless questioning had pushed her to the brink, and what happened next left even seasoned political observers stunned. Throughout the interview, Rayner had been dancing around the issue of Labour's plans for the $100 billion student loan debt. Instead of addressing the financial elephant in the room, she kept circling back to broader topics like education reform. It was a classic political move, but Morgan wasn't having any of it. He kept hammering away, demanding specifics where Rayner could only offer vague platitudes. As the minutes ticked by, viewers could almost feel the sweat forming on Rayner's brow. Her responses became increasingly evasive, contradicting themselves with each new attempt to dodge Morgan's verbal jabs. It was like watching a boxer on the ropes, desperately trying to avoid the knockout punch. But Morgan, ever the skilled pugilist of political discourse, wasn't about to let up. He circled back to the $100 billion.
Well, Piers, we've never been mealy-mouthed about it. We said from day one that we would end tuition fees, that we would make our national education service free.
And the point that is being made is that students thought you would clear their debt.
Figure time and time again, each repetition highlighting Rayner's inability to provide a clear answer. The atmosphere in the studio grew thick with tension, as it became painfully obvious that Labour's deputy leader was out of her depth. Then, in a moment that will likely haunt Labour for years to come, Rayner cracked. Frustration etched across her face. She uttered the words that sent shockwaves through the political landscape. We did not commit to removing all of the debt. It was a stunning admission, one that flew in the face of Labour's carefully crafted messaging on student debt. The implications of this slip-up are nothing short of seismic. In one fell swoop, Rayner had undermined years of Labour positioning on a key issue for young voters. The social media reaction was swift and brutal, with many expressing a sense of betrayal.
Piers has acknowledged that you've said that you would abolish tuition fees, but the point is not about tuition fees from now on in. It told a student, largely student publication, the NME, before the election, I will deal with it.
Voters who had interpreted Labour's previous statements as promises to clear existing debts now found themselves questioning the party's integrity. Critics were quick to pounce, pointing out that Rayner's inability to articulate Labour's stance on such a crucial issue raised serious questions about the party's readiness to govern. How could they be trusted to manage the country's finances if they couldn't even keep their story straight on student debt? Angela Rayner's slip-up on live TV isn't just a momentary embarrassment. It's a glaring spotlight on Labour's ongoing struggle with clear communication.
You're picking out one particular word. He said that he would look at the loan repayments over a longer period. He would look at other ways of trying to look at that debt.
To deal with something.
Susanna,
are we now going to assume that I will deal with it means you won't deal with it?
Political analysts have long stressed the importance of articulating policies with confidence, especially under the harsh glare of public scrutiny. But Rayner's fumbling responses to Piers Morgan's relentless questioning raised serious doubts about Labour's readiness to govern. This interview serves as a wake-up call for the party. Without effective communication, even the most well-intentioned policies risk falling flat with voters. The public expects their leaders to handle tough questions with grace and clarity, not evasion and confusion. As the dust settles on this media firestorm, one can't help but wonder, will voters demand more transparency from their political leaders? Or will they simply tune out, disillusioned by yet another instance of political doublespeak? The fallout from this interview could ripple far beyond Rayner herself. It might just be the catalyst that forces Labour to reassess its entire messaging strategy. After all, in the court of public opinion, how you say something can be just as crucial as what you're saying.